Hey, dog, you're in my seat, homie. Get the frick out the way. I don't like that guy anyway. Say hi to Barry, Tiny, whatever you want to call him. What's up, everybody? Holy moly. What a life. What a freaking life this is. I have so much that I need to get through today. You guys know I am a nerd, so I can't really hide it. I have been waiting to stream with you guys because I just feel like this is one for everybody. Number one, I think that this idea hit me the other day because I've just been thinking about different people who are, I hate the word victim, but victims have to apply to people who are victims. But what happens when you are on TV and it is an unwanted attention and unwanted TV time? And I thought it'd be a great idea just because I can't always reach out directly to every single person I'd like to talk to. So sometimes I hope that this is just like good, helpful advice for anybody who's struggling or is going through a case themselves. I want to show you guys some of the clips and things that I have experienced and kind of just let you see little snippets. We're going to be very careful because you know how YouTube gets. They will shut us down so fast. Gosh, they will shut us down fast. So I'm going to go in order. So today, what we're going to be really talking about, and really what the concept is here, is that we are talking about how one day you're completely living a completely normal life, whatever you want to call normal. There's no such thing, but you know what I mean. You're not on TV. You're not some type of celebrity. You're not known. You're not anything. You're just doing your day to day. All of a sudden, something happens and you are thrown into the public eye. I don't think many people understand the pressures that come with that. Being known and seen and being known for like the worst type of thing, right? Being known for crime, even if it's just as a family member or whatever the case is, you're still only really seen as that type of person. So there's almost an identity attached to you that this is what this is. This is who this person is. I know this person because of this. And again, we're all human beings. So let's be honest. We all do that with our favorite characters and shows. If we saw someone be like, oh, that's that guy from that show, right? I'm not saying, but the problem is with this is that it's different when you're only seen in a certain way. And I really hope that people understand what you're getting yourself into when you actually agree to these TV shows, because there is always going to be someone who is slick as Rick, okay, coming over. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll have the best conversation. We'll talk exactly about their salesmen. Industry secrets. They're salesmen. And so it's unfortunate, but being on TV for the wrong reasons and being known that way really does over time get to you, and it exposes you to a lot. So in my case, obviously, I'm trying to find my siblings. And so what I'm getting is the conversation coming back to me is we're going to put the word out there. We're going to tell people about your siblings. We're going to ring the alarm bell on our platform, and you should do as much as you can to be as loud as you can. And that way there's more coverage, and that way your siblings can be found. So that's basically why it was such a pinch, because of course, as uncomfortable as I was to do that, I was like, that's what you have to do in these scenarios. This isn't about me. So the first show that I agreed to do, besides Good Morning America, which was my first interview, and I think I interviewed with Justin Lum, were my first two interviews, and they're a little different. The first TV show I did was Dr. Phil. I made a video when I first started the channel back up and started doing podcasting. I did a sit down video, and the conversation was just like what it's like to be on Dr. Phil. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like, we were contacted to do Dr. Phil. Then they fly you to the studio. So we were in Hollywood and LA. I'd never been to Hollywood. So that part was pretty interesting, but you can't really let loose and enjoy. It's not like you're there for fun. And so this is where I really want to sit back real quick and just say that, yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that one. We are going to get to that one. It's on here. It's on the list. So, we'll get to it, and I'll explain all of this stuff. And this is no shade. This is just how things work. So we get there, we show up at this like back end thing, and they want to do B-roll. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen because I have it pulled up for you, and I'm gonna show you how. I don't know if you can tell because I'm very uncomfortable here, and that's just truth. I'm very uncomfortable. So let me pull this here so I can see. Okay, perfect. So right here is B-roll of me, and B-roll, if you don't know what that is, it's this crap, right? They make you walk in a shirt that's not mine. I had no hair, and I was overweight. And anyway, Chris,
Everything that she's done.
I was very uncomfortable with this because, again, let's go back to the context. I'm not there to make a TV show. You are. This almost cussed. Sorry, I've been promising to keep it light. This right here is unnecessary for me. I don't give two craps about this. This is not what I said I wanted to do. I don't want to put on your blue shirt and walk down the streets of LA doing B-roll while you hide behind a bush. I'm sorry. Maybe my sense of humor has just gotten a little bit more, I don't know if the word is dark, but just to actually like remember the context of this, I am in so much pain. Like I am like so overwhelmingly unhappy right now. Like I'm going through so much, and to have this be what I'm doing, I wish I would have been the person I am today, because this is ridiculous. I would have said, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this stupid B-roll. What are you talking about, bro? I'm here for one reason only. So this is what we ended up filming behind the scenes. The problem with that is that, you know, for me, I don't care about the TV show, but they have to make one. So they're asking questions, though. This is where it went left for me. They started asking personal questions. They started trying to get into other things. The episode was not at all. This was my first real experience where it like really blew back at me. And I realized that this is what TV is. This has nothing to do with what you promised that I would be here for. So that's the other problem. And my voice is really high. I don't know what's going on.
Mad that my entire family is a shattered vase, and it just seems like she doesn't care about.
They used to ask you questions. I was too scared. So this is how this was. So I'm going to give you guys some context. Okay. So first of all, there's a big, you guys have seen Dr. Phil. There's a big walkway that goes all the way down, and you walk to this stage where you sit down. And before it came up, they played that video, and I am like losing it, trying not to cry. I'm by myself, and I'm trying not to absolutely sob because I'm watching my family's, this stuff just reeling in front of me. I'm watching what everybody in the audience is watching, which is all that pre stuff. And so I'm really deeply emotional, and I'm like really scared at this point to go out there because I'm like trying not to cry. So I get out there, I'm already crying.
Well, Colby, thank you for being here. You're concerned.
So obviously, like you can tell, first of all, they put makeup on me. It is what it is. They made me wear this blue sweater, whatever. The whole outfit was not mine. Let's put it that way. But I just want to say that we'll watch it for a second.
About these children, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you never expect anything like this to happen. And we're in a position where I had to hear everything through the news.
Yeah. So this is the reality of life. Like I know for other people, again, this is why I'm such an advocate. This was happening in real time. And so it's very hard to explain to others what it's like to actually be going through this in real time. I was learning so much of my information from the news itself too. So again, I always give the news their credit, but we also have to remember being on TV is all about, for them, creating a TV show. So that's kind of what that is.
And I can't reach out and talk to my family, and it's really, really hard.
So I know I'm going to probably get hit by Phil. But anyway, this is what we kind of went into. So they get my text from me and Tylee because I told them about that. And I was telling her like the fear. Look at this dumb picture, bro. Come on. Do me some kind of courtesy here. This stupid shirts and everything we got going on here. And so anyway, I was out there, and then they brought out Tylee's aunt, and then they brought out Kay and Larry. So we didn't even know we were all going to be on there together. So that's number one. Complete shock. No back and forth of conversation. Who's going to be on the episode? We didn't know. We had no idea what the plan was. So there's that for you. Going into one of the other, this is the one I just did recently. And I do have to say it hurt to have this position because I was called to do this interview to talk about the meningitis. And I really wanted to spread awareness because for me, I could never have expected to get it. Now, I think I got it. I think I've told this story before, but I think I got this, my meningitis. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to refer to it as, but I got meningitis, I think, because I was working outside all the time and we were doing commercial electrician work and digging. And that's pretty much how you get it is exposure to like really, certain kind of dirt that has the fungus in it. And so I was just like, dude, this happens in Arizona a lot. People should be more aware. Like I thought I had double pneumonia. That's what I got from the clinic that I went to. They said that you have double pneumonia. So I took the medicine for double pneumonia and then I got better kind of. And then the whole rest of that year I was fine until I had the stroke. And then all of a sudden it's this huge thing because it went untreated. And so when this interview was supposed to happen, you know, at this point, I'm a lot more seasoned, so I understand that some questions might go and I don't have to answer questions, but it did, obviously, it was not just about the meningitis. So it's pretty much the same thing, but I'll just play this little clip right here.
In a place that's unfamiliar, what was going through your mind? How were you feeling?
I think it was hard because I didn't want to look vulnerable in front of Lori. I know that sounds weird, but I didn't really want to give her that in that moment.
Mr. Ryan.
So it turned into this, correct? Again, reason why we're doing this. Reason why we're having this conversation is it turned into little sprinkles. So now we're sprinkling in parts of what we talked about we do, but the majority is going to be, what is your reaction? What is your reaction to your mom? Tell me about your mom. Tell me what you think. And it's a valid question. I understand that. It's not like I haven't said it, but I did that on my channel as a way to vent it out and help people gain perspective. Because again, I'm not the only person that their parent has done this. So it's maybe a really, really small category. Thank God it's a small category, but there's a lot of people who I felt like could relate to me because of, you know, parent issues in general, not just somebody who's absolutely top of the line, horrendous. And then on top of that, you know, it's hard to talk about in general. It's not like something I can just spark into, you know, it's like, it takes a toll every time, even if it's little tiny bits at a time. To just bring it up raw is pretty crazy. I mean, I'm pretty open. You guys know that, but it doesn't mean that I'm just open to just you know, sit on camera and like, imagine again, this is why as a podcaster and just as someone who does YouTube in general, I could never imagine like putting someone next to me. Let's like, look at this. Got a little booty shot in there. Sorry. Imagine this. So I said to this guy, we're going to put your head up, have some damn respect. You know, we're going to have a conversation about what it's like to be a bear. And then all of a sudden I'm like, just changing it. You know, what do you think about the beehives? Do you think that they should be sharing the honey? I mean, it's like that kind of thing. Like, it's like, oh, okay. I ask you like warm up questions and then you're gone. Get out of here. Giant fricker. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy because it sets you up because, again, I'm a very open person. I do talk about my feelings. I talk about my life. I talk about mental health. But it doesn't mean that my life is just here in a book for you to just ask me any question. I mean, I'd have to have some kind of relationship with someone to truly open up like that. And then even then, it doesn't mean that I want everyone to know where I'm at. Like, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And the problem is with being on TV, that's not how that works. There is no when you're ready. It's what they want because they're trying to sell a product. So that's kind of how that goes. I did want to talk about this part. This is one of the things that, again, at the time, how do I explain this? How do I explain this? Let's switch this over. Okay. First of all, you guys know I had a great time at CrimeCon. So I had a great time at CrimeCon, and I'm not going to sit here and hate on that. I really did. But this is what I was talking about. So for me, like as someone who's trying to advocate for people, especially who have been on TV, who've been in exposure, things like that. number one thing is at some point you want to also share positives. At least that's it for me. I want there to be a positive takeaway at the end of each conversation. It shouldn't just be drama or badness all the time. You kind of have to balance out life. That's how I feel. You need to like talk about the bad, and then maybe if I have a lesson, I can tell the lesson because I know it applies to other people's lives. So long story short, when this was asked to me, I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's just get to it.
Colby this backstage, but somehow Lori found out that we were going to be here today and sent me a message this morning. And I've shared this with these guys backstage. They said it was okay if I shared it.
So again, in front of everybody, I did say yes. So I want that to be clear with Nate. It's not like it was just, it wasn't thrown in like he didn't say anything. He did mention it. So
with you all. If you talk to Colby, please tell him that I love him very much, no matter what, in all caps.
No, you don't, Lori.
You can ask him about Matthew 25.
Yeah, she always has a scripture for everything.
Which, looked up, and it's the parable of the wheat and the tares and the parable of the 10 virgins, I believe. Any idea what that scripture reference means?
It's her.
So I haven't actually even looked that up, but I feel like I just picked it apart. And luckily, a lot of what we talked about wasn't specifically Lori related. But again, I didn't feel as if I don't know. It's hard to balance it all out because I don't want to just sit there and talk about Lori. Let's just put it out there. Like, it's one thing to cover the case. I have to separate the two. There's the case and then there's the real life that's happening around the case. So like all the other stuff and then the relationships. So I guess it's very multi-layered. I have case knowledge now, which I didn't have. And I've also dealt with a lot of the things in therapy, there's like the life stuff. And so I kind of have a really wide scope now of like everything that's happened so far. And for me, like if I go on a platform like this, I want to share something good and positive. I don't want it to be just Lori centric. So I guess I'm just bringing that back up because it's a good call to everyone to understand how to really talk to someone prior to doing something with them and seeing what kind of place they are in mentally and what they can and cannot talk about. Like I knew there was going to be a moment where they showed the property, and I don't know if you guys have like a level of PTSD from certain things, but PTSD with that picture of that overview of Chad's backyard is one of the just most sickening feelings to see. Like just the flash of it. And again, I think it was even the Netflix intro, which I did not like because it's all about the darkness. And it's like, where's the light about who Tylee, JJ, Charles, and Tammy were? Nowhere. We're just focused on Lori, the bad. We're only focused on what she did, how crazy she is. I think it just doesn't give you any room. And so my call to like all these people who do TV and things like that is simply just understanding the person that you're talking to, what they're willing and not willing to do. And I get it. In news, it's about a scoop. It's about the story. It's about whatever you're covering. But the person you're talking to is a human being that's going through it. Now, again, I'm not trying to sit here and specifically throw shade at anyone, even including Netflix. I now understand, even though I don't agree, what they were trying to do. And they wanted to tell a very specific story, and that's what they did. The problem is when it comes to these things, you are mixing entertainment and real life, and not reality TV where there's like, let's set back, hold on, let's do this real quick, let's put that mic on, let's re-say that. This is happening in real life, and it's the worst circumstances you could be in. It's not like we're not talking about being some type of like known for doing something, accomplishing something, or being a great actor, or being a book writer, or a singer, or a NASCAR driver, whatever, right? It's not like the good kind of exposure to be on TV. I've never really looked back until I was prepping for this video on any of my interviews, to be honest with you. I think the one I watched when it came out was the Dateline one, the first one. And then I think we watched the Dateline together, reacted to it together too. So I watched that one too, but it's not like I go back and watch myself. I don't know. Whatever I said. I'm the type of person to overanalyze. Like I wish I would have said this better, or I could have articulated this now like today better. But the problem that I have with TV is that's the problem is I really want to get to the core of that, is that you're talking about entertainment versus reality. And that's where we've blurred the line in true crime. That's where we've blurred the line of like reality. And I think that I want to say it this way. I'm interested in these types of things as well. I have a huge just psychological part of me that really dives in, tries to understand things. Like I get it. I'm not throwing a stone here. I'm mostly just saying that being in it and then being on TV and being known for being on TV for these bad things, it really does eventually feel like you can't escape this feeling of people understanding you as a person. And I'm not going to lie, like before, I want to say 21 and 22, I mentally was so in a place where I'm like, no one's ever going to see me for anything more than this. And I said to you guys, I've said this before, but it's the best analogy I can think of. I felt like I was just a deer who I got hit by a car laying on the side of the road who couldn't move, and people knew that I was hurt, but they couldn't really do anything. Couldn't go up and touch you or help you. I'm not saying people didn't reach out, but you get my point. Like it feels like that. Like you're just the spectacle of something that people are just passing by because it's the news, and your mom is just leading this charge of like exposure to your life. And it's unwanted, unasked for, and it's super invasive. And there's so many people who criticize you and say things out of their mouth that they just don't, they don't know any better. I mean, they do. Maybe they shouldn't talk, but they still talk. And that doesn't stop how the internet is. So it's a harsh reality. And I just want to put that out there because I know that, watching these cases and these things are very interesting. But we just have to remember, like, this goes outside of any kind of, it's outside of any kind of like tangible reality almost. Like, I want to put this in the best way I possibly can. The person is going through hell. We're watching them go through hell. It just doesn't exist in any other category. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like knowing victims after a crime, because we're mixing an entertainment into that world. And so now we're more information based. So if when I watch stuff and it's like, it's more like, here's what happened next. Here's the story. Here's the backstory. And here's the information now. Here's the police videos. Here's this. So again, it almost floods us with so much information that almost it desensitizes the reality of that actually happened. And because it's in the entertainment section, like documentaries and things like that, it blurs that line. And it's so hard. Like as I'm prepping for the documentary, as we're getting all this stuff like all these things ready, I'm really making sure that I am sitting with what needs to be talked about. And the only way to do it is to say it exactly how it was and not sugarcoat it or try to make it more like film, almost more just narrative driven of what actually happens, which is why you have to do it a certain way. And it's all been hitting me, like all my experiences on TV. When I got to us talking about the media, my first video we ever did back, I was sitting in, we were sitting in my room and we found out that we were having a boy. And then I did the video right after that. And it was like right around Chad's trial. And I just felt like I had so much to say. And I just felt so silenced in a way. I just felt like I was so scared of trying to say it myself. I just felt like nobody would listen because I felt like for years I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but nobody was there to hear it. And so I felt the same way when it came to like these narratives that were being driven by YouTubers or people doing interviews, and just all this information is just thrown into this pot and everybody's trying to figure out what's what. And so, like I told you, all these projects and all these TV shows all want a piece of that, and they're all trying to make it different. And so you got to throw in some creative stuff, and you got to get creative. You got to place things this and there. I will tell you that, I'm I don't know what the word would be. I don't know if it's a realist or whatever the case is, but I guess later now in my 20s, I'm not even 20 anymore. In my later 20s, I'm 30. I started to kind of just get to that radical acceptance. And that has put me in a place now where I can look back and just say, I learned a lesson from this thing, and now I'm going to take it and try to help the next person and do something more. That's it. And my biggest advice, I'm going to say this because I just think we have the ability to do so. If there are victims that have things that they need to say, I think they should do it on their own platform. I think they should at least, if especially or be willing, able to correct it. The problem is, now that I say that though, the problem is with that is that part of that reason why there's so much to it, dude. So on one hand, you want to say your piece. On the other hand, they're doing all the stuff you don't know how to do. They're putting together a story. They're just interviewing you. All you have to do is talk, but then they get to chop that up and make it what they want. So I would say if I really went back and wanted to do it all over again, I would have just said everything on my channel. I would have just done all of the talking on my channel. And at that time though, there's still a lot of criticism. It's really hard when you first start getting criticized. Trust me, like people go at your looks, they go at your voice, they go at, everything about you. Anything they know about you, they will use as a weapon against you. And so when you're first going through that, it hurts. Like there could literally be 100,000 nice things said about you, but the one ugly thing that someone says just sticks in your heart for a minute. Cause like, I didn't know my identity. So again, when somebody said something, I just overtook too much responsibility. Like part of what was going on at that time when I was doing these interviews is that I felt like almost like, how you feel if your mom or if your child, you're a parent and your child is at someone else's house and they knock down a vase and you feel like it's your responsibility because you should have watched the kid. I realized that that's how I felt about Lori. When this all happened, I felt like I owed everybody apologies because it's my mom. There's something really odd about that, to feel responsible for something you didn't do, but you feel like you have to give people, I'm so sorry my mom did this, right, to others. And it's like, I just realized that was how my dynamic was built with her. And so during all these interviews, there's so much pain. There's so much going on. You don't have a clear head and there's someone trying to get something out of you. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. I've had very few good interactions, to be honest with you. I feel like more than ever now I'm just too, I don't know what the word is. I guess it's just too different now. I'm not going to sit there and have someone ask me questions and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'll answer that. I'll just tell you, no, I'm not going to answer that, with all due respect. That's as simple as it should be. But at the time, that wasn't my personality. I would just felt like I owed them because it's like, well, they took the trouble to have me sit here and put a mic on me and film me. Who cares? They want to make money off of you. There's nothing to do with you. They don't care about you. You're here for one reason, and it's for them. It's not for you. It's not to actually do the thing you guys agreed to. It's for them to make money. And so at the end of the day, if you're only going to have these people coming at you and telling you they're going to do it for the right reasons, I really don't know how else to say it, but I never had a positive experience in this realm when it came to TV. Now I will say, let me back up a little bit. The last Dateline I did was a very pleasant experience because I almost felt like I regained Colby at that time because it was such a different tone and environment. And I think it's because I started doing the channel. And when you face those demons and you're already kind of there mentally yourself, and then when someone asks you questions, you answer differently. And I was treated with nothing but love and respect. You guys know that I did Dateline live in Nashville, and I've had a good experience with them. But at first, it wasn't a good experience. I was really upset with how the Dateline came out, and the very first one that ever came out that I participated in. And so unfortunately, TV doesn't always go the way that it should. But again, my main theme of this video is just the blurring entertainment and reality into one. It's getting to that point where it really just does desensitize us. So I think it's just good to go back to basics and just really remember how much this is all real life. Like the stuff that's happening is real life, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is, like, to look back and think about all this time that I've been, I mean, it's been almost 7 years. Yeah, it has been 7 years. 7 years in September. Yeah, even next month for July 11th. That's 7 years because it was 2019. Like, that's effing crazy. But you know, it took 7 years, this whole entire time, to even process what happened. It's just like, it's so much, you know? And TV really just comes in and tries to get and pull the juice out and just get to the meat of it and try to put that out there as fast as possible. That's their jobs. It's how it works, especially with like kind of news, documentary, docuseries, shows like that. But yeah, I just urge people to be kind and be human. You got to be really careful. People are going through hell, man. I was going through hell in those interviews. I can see it on my face. I remember how I felt. I remember those feelings of sitting in front of a camera and just not knowing what they're going to ask you next, and just feeling bad, like if I don't answer it, that there's going to be a problem, or I'm going to upset all these people I've never met. And that was that people pleaser that I grew up with. Like, why do I don't owe you anything. It's not even a disrespectful thing, but it should be a two-way street. That's all I ever ask for. I'm not asking you to treat me better than you. I'm not asking to be treated anything else other than just, we're both on the same page. You're interviewing me and I'm answering questions for you. So that's all it is just genuine respect. So I don't want to be asked questions that are super out of pocket and about things that we didn't agree to. That's why I think it's important to have kind of a pre-conversation with someone that you're going to interview, just as a layout. And, you know, stuff comes up organically. I think it should. But in this context, when it's about like, okay, let's just play devil's advocate. Let's do the other side of stuff I've experienced. So we want to ask you about your mom and what it was like growing up with her, and what did you see? And I know you said that you felt like sometimes you were her husband, so I want to get into that. And did she ever, I know this is hard to ask, but did she ever like do anything to you? Did she ever do anything inappropriate to you? And also then we want to kind of talk about, you know, a little bit about Tylee, JJ, and Charles. And then we'll just jump over and we'll just kind of ask you some questions about, you know, Chad, what you think about him. Did you ever meet him? Did you have these conversations with him? What do you think about him being your stepdad? Like, when I'm telling you, that's how they talk to you. That's the type I've had those questions asked to me and ran through like that. Like, here's this list of stuff I'm going to overwhelm you with, so you don't have a second to rebuttal. And then I'm just going to be like, well, I at least warned you. And then I say, boom, bazooka, have it. Ready? Roll, go. That's how it works. I say that because of that fact that is exactly why I want a media company to completely end that cycle for most people. I mean, like, not everybody's going to want to do their story with a media company that I create. I get that. I don't expect that. But I do have an expectation of really grounding back to just basic human understanding and really trying. And I have a respect for all reporters and all the people who are trying to balance that out, because I get that I'm sure in their line of work, there's a lot of pressure to produce. So it's hard. It's hard. Not my place to say. I don't know. But I will say that, again, it is really hard to go through that kind of stuff. It's a savage world. It's entertainment. And I'm going to go ahead and just bring up Netflix once again, just to kind of end this conversation. But I put my heart and soul into that project with them, right? I'm sitting here on this couch, right? Like, let's say this is the Netflix documentary. I'm just talking like this, just running through my entire life that I can possibly, just everything I could think of, from stuff about me and Tylee, me and JJ, me and Charles. And, you know, I didn't really know anything about the case at that point. I mean, I had some understanding, obviously, but, you know, it just, to know what you put in. Like, I would sit there, no freaking lie, I would sit there for about sometimes 8 hours plus. I'd have no voice at the end. I'm emotional. I am so burnt. I don't know if you guys have ever been so overwhelmed. Like, this happened in court too, where you didn't do anything. You sat down all day. You're not physical. There's nothing going on around you that's making you exhausted. The type of exhaustion that you get from feeling those feelings, and it's just like your nervous system is on 10, just firing off in the worst ways, and your cortisol's high. The most exhausted I've ever been. So I'd go home from the Netflix stuff and just be destroyed. Like, it's just so hard to balance. And at the time, I'm a new dad, trying to balance out how to not let everybody see what I'm going through. And, I was going in the closet and just bawling. I just have these moments like, there's nothing you can do to stop this. I would go sit in the closet on the floor and cry into a shirt as hard and as much as I needed to. And I would just sob. And I think that, to me, because I've always been emotional and like a crier. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't cry, you need to check if you have AI in you, because we all have emotions. Doesn't mean you have to cry all the time, but it's okay. It's healthy. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, that came off a little harsh. I meant it in a sense of, don't try to hide your feelings. It's not tough, or it's nothing wrong with crying. Put it back that way. Sorry, it came off a little harsh, but I don't know. I mean, I'd go in there and I'd just sit there and just cry into a shirt. And I remember watching those TV shows, like watching the Dateline, and I just bawled. I just bawled. Because there's stuff that was brought up in that interview that I wasn't ready to have a conversation about. Now the whole world's talking about it. Just fired off, right? Just a one line question. Now everybody has to hear about it. Now it's a whole subject. Now it's a thing. Like, you don't even think about it that way. All you did was answer someone's question in person, but it's being filmed and everybody's going to watch that and then dissect it, right? And you have all the people try to body language me and all this other stuff. So it is, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how this whole thing works, because it's just so dehumanizing, and it's already bad. There's already so much dehumanization. And then you're getting this bad side of other people who want to literally take advantage of that. You know what I mean? And so I spent a lot of time talking about that, because it's just such a big deal. Such a big deal to bring it back to the basics and be really human, and let people talk and let them have a place to feel open. And to do that, you have to create some kind of relationship, I believe, especially if it's like some type of interview or something. I think you need some kind of rapport. I'm going to tell you my Dr. Phil real quick. This is no shade towards him, so let's just put that out there. But we were sitting there, and so like there's moment where you're on and they're asking you questions, and it's just like your mind is racing, your heart is racing, you're trying to like be engaged, trying not to cry in front of a literal audience. And you're sitting on that high chair, and, between the takes where they kind of black out the studio and it kind of gives the B-roll. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time. But between all that, I was trying to kind of lean over and have a conversation with Dr. Phil, because it's just kind of the nice thing to do. Not that I knew the rules. I don't know if you're not supposed to do that. I was just kind of like trying to have a conversation, just to be like, I don't even know what I said. I think I said something like, this is something rough or something like that. And let's just say he wasn't really paying attention. I don't know if he was overwhelmed. I don't know if he was whatever, you know what I mean? But I never had an interaction with him, so it's not fair for me to really judge his character. But even being on the show, there was no conversation between us before we did the show, and then after I never saw him again. So I just want to put that out there, that's how that stuff works. When you are on something like that, you're not going to create a relationship with Dr. Phil before. But again, I'm an advocate to say, at least for me doing the podcast, those types of things that I want to do, I feel like it's really important to have some kind of conversation one-on-one. I know for him, I don't know. Anyway, not the point. We're not going to do a Dr. Phil dissection here. I just say that because it's the core theme of our channel, is just trying to really bring it back to empathy and understanding that people are going through it, and just have some grace. Let them have some grace. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But I never had a conversation with him. I don't even remember if 2 or 3 words were exchanged off camera. So I think that's kind of what it is. Colby, have you had people you know cross over the road to avoid you, most likely because they didn't know what to say? Yes. The impact of this. So I think I said this the other day. Man, this couch is really turning into therapy. I like this. I like this setup. I'm free. I got my legs just hanging out. I got a whole bunch of room. This is nice. Maybe it's making me a little more comfortable. To answer your question, sorry about the ADHD. To answer your question, yes. When I wrote in my statement, my victim impact statement, I said, this is like a nuclear bomb. And it's because a nuclear bomb, when it drops, would devastates. It ruins forever. It never goes back. I lost my friends, my extended family, people I've known my whole life, I would say almost. And it's like everybody just vanished from a central, like everyone was here and it vanished. And I lost all the relationships that I knew. And so the impact of what happened with Lori and Chad and Alex's actions is generationally impacted. Generational impact. It literally takes Tylee having her children or whatever maybe JJ could, I don't know. Charles doesn't get to have his relationships with everyone. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have them ever again. Tammy doesn't even get to see her kids and her grandkids. You know what I mean? Like, and then outside of that, it ruined everybody's relationships. So everybody just kind of like just stopped being close. And yeah, it's a nuclear bomb. It just exploded everything. It wasn't, and then, at that time too, like I lost my job. Me and Lori had our cars tied together. I got those repossessed. Didn't have a car for a long time. Was walking to the store. Not trying to have a sob story. It's just the truth. I was walking to the store, putting food in a duffel bag during COVID and walking it back in a duffel bag. And I tell you that because it got so low and I just kept thinking, dude, this just can't get worse. It just can't get worse. And, up until that point, my mom and Charles had really financially helped me so much. And I was just kind of getting on my feet. I was barely 22 and a half, and I just got a manager job. And I'd had a bunch of jobs. I just got like a manager position at a gym. And so I just had a newborn. So I was trying really hard to get my life together, whatever. And then, my credit was, co-signed with Lori, and she didn't tell me what was going on with our car. So I only owed a little bit left on my car that I had for a long time, but she never said anything. She just let everything happen because she didn't care. She literally did not care. She literally didn't care about human life. She didn't care what happened. She was just doing what she needed to do for herself. And so I had that impact on me as well. And she tried to pawn off her car on me. Remember the blue car that they brought down, and it got taken by the police. I gave it to the police. I gave all the things that were coming at me to have. I said, have it, take it. But it left me with the same thing. So I had lost my job. I was just struggling, and everything around me just imploded. And then on top of that, nobody was there. There was a few people, so I'm not going to say that, but two people that had literally had my back and never switched up on me ever. But everybody else, man, just left. And I'm like, oh, holy hell. You really do find out who your friends are. And it sucks because you would never know that someone's not a ride or die until it's ride or die time. And they're not there. And you're like, I am alone as it gets. So again, it's unfortunate. Really, really, really impactful. Ruined a lot of things forever. So it's the truth though. And that kind of stuff sometimes doesn't recover. You try what you can. Some things are just about burying the hatchet. That's about it. Some things are not about fixing it. Some things don't get fixed and go back to the way they were. Some things are just unavoidably going to be the way that it is now. For me, because of Charles, there's nobody I want to have a problem with that I wouldn't at least at some point have some kind of closing conversation and tell them I wish you the best and I mean it not just say it because it's cliches, mean it, and let people move on. That's it. But that doesn't happen often, you know? So it's, but I will tell you, the people that I have been close to are people that have had my back in the dark. And it's such a short list. And it's unfortunate to come from this big, happy family and have so much. And then all of a sudden, boom, gone. And you realize that those people were never actually going to be there for you. And then you find out who is for you. And then you just get a view that you never would have. I say this all the time now because it's like my favorite way to explain things to people. But I've been talking about the documentary like this. I said it on with Sherilyn when we did the video. And I said, it's like going to point 5. Like all of a sudden you just get this giant perspective of everything that's going on. And but it took years to get there. So it's not like an easy thing. But, you know, after talking it through so much, doing so much work on this channel, my biggest thing that I try to tell other people, and again, I'm not directly talking to victims, I'd love to, but my advice in the general sense is I think that because we have social media, it's good if you really feel comfortable enough to do a lot of the talking yourself, or feel free, which I wish I would have given myself the pass to do, is just be willing to say, this is a lie. And it's that simple. I'm not trying to come in here and start the great debates. I don't care. The truth doesn't need a lot of explanation. The truth is the truth, and it doesn't change because you don't like it. And so if I don't have to sit here and go, boom, da, 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 da. It's like, it just is what it is. And I finally understood, like, I used to try to over explain because Lori was such a difficult human being. I don't know how to explain this, but I felt like you had to give her multiple different versions of the same exact things. So that way you covered your bases with her, because she was just that difficult. It's the best way I can explain it. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a better way, but if I'm being honest with you, the hardest part about growing up that way is that I grew up to please her. And I did the same thing my whole life, trying to like be worth something, trying to be like, make people I've never even met, like, you know, go out of my way to be uncomfortable so they could be comfortable. Like, again, I did that on TV. I sat there and I was like, I just don't want to hurt their feelings. If they ask a question and I say no, I'm going to feel bad. Why? What the frick? They're asking you inappropriate stuff. And it's not that you're mean to say no, but it felt like, I don't know why that. It's stupid. But I figured out the core reason why I did that. And so I finally traced that back down. And I just realized it's not even disrespectful just to say, hey, I'm not comfortable answering that. That's it. That's the extent. It doesn't have to go past that. Nope, not answering that. Appreciate you. Thank you. We can still talk. But if you keep trying to get the scoop, I got a dupe. That sounded so stupid. Hey, edit that. Cut that. Cut it. I know it's live. Cut it. Cut it, Bear. That's my Bear's my co-host over there. Barry. No, not Barry. Tiny, whatever. I'll think of a name for him. But it's really important. It's really important to get your voice, deal with your trauma. And when it comes to TV stuff, man, just especially true crime, we just really have to remember this is real life. I know some people like can't accept that. Some people are like, this is all fake. This was scripted. This is all whatever. This is all fake. This isn't this. They pre-planned this. Yeah, this was not pre-planned. Okay. I don't even know how to answer that. If you really think that this is all movie time, it's not. This isn't Hollywood. This shit happened. And it sucks. I wish it didn't, but it did. And so wishing it didn't doesn't change anything. I want to address one thing too, real quick, just because we're doing therapy, whatever. This is going to be the new therapy couch. We're changing the whole channel to therapy on a couch. I did post a photo on Father's Day. I think I talked about it on the Father's Day video. You know, I'm not really the biggest fan of what ifs. I'm not. I just think that they're really hurtful. If anything, they're hurtful because they tease at things, and it just the what ifs can be negative. Let's put it that way. So the what ifs can be really negative, but realistically, that was my favorite photo that I've ever used to integrate. And honestly, I don't know if she's here. I don't know if Keely's here, but she was the first one to ever send me something that made me feel something with AI. And so after she sent me that photo, a part of me was looking at that photo with my girls and Carter, and it's just something about adding them into that photo. And again, you have to remember that I know they wouldn't look the same because they'd be a lot older, but when you lose someone, it's almost exactly how you remember them, is like from the day that you lost them. So that's exactly how they look in my mind when I see them. I know they would look different, but that's exactly how Tylee and Charles and JJ look in my head. And so to see even this idea that they should be here and that this should be real life and that this is not some kind of fantasy idea that's so improbable or some kind of like, hoop dreams thing where it's like just not, it's so hard for it to happen. It's like, this just should have been normal. I should have had a Father's Day next to my dad, both being celebrated as fathers, where he could be a grandpa for my kids, and everyone should still be here. Tylee should be here with her nieces and nephew, and JJ should be here with his nieces and nephew playing. That's not supposed to be a fantasy, but it is. And I realized that that's part of what I mean when I talk about crime and stuff like that. It's like these crimes really do fracture forever. And you'll see a lot of people, a lot of times, like their families really come together during these crimes. But in something like this, when there's so much going on, so it ripped ours apart. And so, yeah, it's a tough thing to swallow. TV can be harsh, and it really takes away from the soul of somebody. So again, I am trying to still figure out ways that I can show people what it was like. And that's why the documentary means so much to me. I just want to, again, thank every single person who has donated to the documentary, because we are going to make our own little history, to be honest with you. And I can't do it without you. And I can't give you what is needed to be made, but I think we can do something for this world of crime. I think we can do something super new and fresh by helping people tell their stories, take their narrative back, and take it out of the hands of the media and everyone else who wants to just grab it for the sake of money, and take it back to where it belongs, which is the core, and give people the respect and the things that they deserve, rather than just talking about it for money. That's what I want to do. So that is going to be the goal. And it has been, and nothing has ever changed in that. I've wanted a media company for all those reasons. So that way I have the proper tools to help someone else as well. That's the point. That's why you need a company and media company to house all those things. So that's what it is. Anyway, thanks for joining me today on our little couch adventure. I really appreciate you guys. I missed you. Probably talked about some other things that weren't necessarily on the docket today, but that's how our lives always go. But I missed you guys. We're going to be back tomorrow and Tuesday, so I'll let you know. I'll put up our thumbnails. I really do appreciate you guys just taking your time out of your day to be here, and just thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being here. How about that? And thank you for just being loving and just listening to someone who had a bad experience and just being willing to even listen. I appreciate that. I do. All right, guys. Love you. And I will see you on the next video.